Hey, Piers, did you ever think it would come to this?
Do you know, I was beginning to fear it might, but when it actually happens, it is an absolute bombshell.
Piers Morgan does not hold back, ever. And when Prince Andrew got arrested on his 66th birthday, Piers went on Fox News and said what everyone else was too scared to say.
If you have to go back centuries to the last time that a member of the British royal family was arrested.
This is an absolute bombshell. This is an existential threat to the monarchy. And the UK Prime Minister is a dead man walking. Those are not my words. Those are Piers Morgan's exact words. Hours after Andrew got arrested. And here is why that matters. Piers Morgan has connections inside the palace. He knows people. He talks to royals. He has been covering them for decades. So when he says this is an existential threat to the monarchy, he is not being dramatic. He is telling you what people inside the palace are actually thinking. They are panicking. Because this is not just about Andrew anymore. This could take down the entire royal family. And Piers Morgan just said it out loud. Let me break down exactly what he said and why it is so explosive.
What?
First, let me set the scene. February 19th, 2026. Prince Andrew gets arrested at his home. Police cars. Handcuffs. The works. Within hours, Piers Morgan is on Fox and Friends. And he comes out swinging. He calls it an absolute bombshell. But then he says something interesting. He says it is not completely surprising. Because last week, King Charles released a statement that basically opened the door for the police to make a move. Charles said the police would have the royal family's full cooperation. And Piers said that was the signal. That was Charles telling the police, go ahead. Arrest him.
Now follows is the full, fair and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities.
I am not going to stop you. And that is exactly what happened. So Piers saw this coming. But even though he saw it coming, he still calls it a bombshell. Because arresting a member of the royal family? That has not happened in centuries. This is history. This is a massive deal. Now here is where Piers drops the really explosive stuff. He says this could be an existential threat to the monarchy itself. Those are strong words. Existential threat. That means the monarchy might not survive this. And why does he think that? Because Andrew is not going down alone. According to Piers, it is increasingly likely that other senior members of the royal family will be interviewed by the police. Not just Andrew. Other royals. People close to the king. People who knew what Andrew was doing and did nothing. People who covered for him. People who enabled him. And if the police start questioning them? If they start digging into what the palace knew and when they knew it? This gets way bigger than Andrew. This becomes about the entire system. About how the royals protected him for years. About how they let him get away with it. And that is the existential threat. Not just Andrew going down. Everyone going down.
Comments on the right which exonerate him by saying he hasn't actually done anything. What do you think about Andrew? And should he be cut loose from the royal family completely? Should he be kicked out of his house?
Yeah, look, all I know is this was a guy who stated
Have you met him, by the way?
I met him.
Let me give you context on why Piers is saying this. The charge against Andrew is misconduct in public office. That means he abused his position while working for the government. Specifically, he was sharing confidential government information with people he should not have been talking to. Secret trade deals. Diplomatic strategies. Inside information. He was handing it over. And the maximum sentence for that crime? Life in prison. So this is serious. This is not a slap on the wrist situation. If Andrew gets convicted, he could spend the rest of his life in jail. And Piers made sure to point that out. He said, this is not some minor charge. This is as serious as it gets. But here is the part that really matters. Piers said the police are probably going to want to talk to other royals. Because Andrew was not acting alone. He had protection. He had people covering for him. He had staff who knew what he was doing. He had family members who looked the other way. And if the police start asking questions, if they start bringing in palace aides, If they start questioning senior royals, then everyone becomes implicated. And that is when the monarchy faces an existential crisis. Because you cannot survive as an institution if your entire leadership is under criminal investigation. The public will not accept it. The government will not protect you. And the whole thing collapses.
That he has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming, yes.
Unbecoming? He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite.
Now let me tell you what else Piers said. He said the UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, is a political dead man walking. Those are his exact words. Dead man walking. Why? Because Starmer has his own connections to the scandal. Not directly to Andrew, but to other people who are now resigning because of the document releases. Starmer's chief of staff? Gone. The UK ambassador to the US? Resigned. And Piers says Starmer is next. He predicts that Starmer will not be Prime Minister in 2 to 3 months. There are local elections in May, and Piers thinks Labour is going to get destroyed. And when that happens, Starmer is done. And the reason is simple. The public is furious. They are furious that all these powerful people were connected to this stuff and nobody did anything. They are furious that Andrew was protected for years. They are furious that it took this long for anyone to face consequences. And they are taking it out on everyone involved. Politicians, royals, everyone.
Conviction end up with a prison sentence, and the maximum sentence is life imprisonment. And this is the king's brother who remains eighth in line to the throne. So this is, like I say, an absolute bombshell.
But here is the uncomfortable truth. Piers Morgan has been defending the royals for years. He has been critical of Meghan and Harry. He has supported the institution. He has argued that the monarchy is important for Britain. So for him to go on television and say this is an existential threat, that tells you how bad it is. Because if even Piers Morgan, a royal supporter, is saying the monarchy might not survive this, then the situation is dire. He is not being dramatic. He is being realistic. And that should scare the palace. Now let me talk about what Piers said about King Charles. He said Charles's statement last week was the tipping point. Charles said the police would have the royal family's full cooperation. And Piers interpreted that as Charles giving the police permission to arrest Andrew. Because before that statement, the police were assessing the situation. They were reviewing documents. They were deciding whether to open an investigation. And then Charles released that statement. And within days, Andrew was arrested. So Piers is basically saying Charles threw Andrew under the bus. He sacrificed his brother to protect the monarchy. And that was the right move. Because if Charles had tried to protect Andrew, if he had tried to interfere, the public would have turned on him. The monarchy would have been finished. So Charles made a choice. Let Andrew face justice. Distance the royal family from him. And hope the damage does not spread. But here is the problem. It might be too late. Because the documents that came out earlier this month, they show that Andrew was not operating in a vacuum. He had enablers. He had people who knew what he was doing. And some of those people are still in positions of power. Andrew is the first domino. And when he falls, others are going to fall with him. So what is Piers Morgan's overall reaction? He thinks this is huge. He thinks this could bring down the monarchy. He thinks the Prime Minister is finished. He thinks other royals are going to get questioned. And he thinks the British public is not going to forgive any of them. That is his take. And given his connections and his track record, people are listening. Because if Piers Morgan, a long-time royal defender, is saying the monarchy might not survive this, then the palace should be very, very worried. This is not just another scandal. This is the scandal.